Let's be honest, the TOEFL is not a test of your ability to speak English. It is a high-stakes assessment of your ability to perform linguistic synthesis under extreme cognitive load. In our last masterclass, we mastered the mental anchor and recursive expansion. You learned how to survive the clock. But today, we are here to master the intellectual architecture of the test. I'm Sloane. Today, we are dissecting the Counter-Refutation Protocol. To earn a perfect 30 in the writing and speaking sections, you must do more than just repeat what you heard in a lecture. You must identify the methodological flaws and the logical friction between the reading and the listening. Before we dive into these high-tier strategies, consider subscribing to this channel. If you are serious about achieving a 115 or a 120, you need a consistent diet of high-status English. By subscribing, you ensure that you never miss a session on the professional path. Furthermore, if you are looking for the absolute pinnacle of preparation, look no further than Trinity English Scholar. We don't just teach you to pass, we teach you to dominate the American academic landscape. Trinity is where the top 1% go to refine their rhetoric. If you are aiming for Harvard, Stanford, or MIT, you need more than fluency. You need academic authority. If you're ready to stop summarizing and start dismantling, let's get to work. The core concept today is logical scrutiny. On the TOEFL, the professor in the lecture isn't just disagreeing with the text, they are pointing out a logical fallacy. Most students miss this entirely. They say, the professor thinks the reading is wrong. That is a Band 6 TOEFL 20 response. It lacks nuance. A Trinity scholar identifies the nature of the refutation. We use high-status descriptors like causal oversimplification, methodological inconsistency, or empirical insufficiency. Let's talk about nominalization. This is the process of turning actions into concepts. Instead of using weak verbs like the professor argues, we turn the action into a concept. The professor's refutation is predicated on the lack of longitudinal data. This shift creates lexical density. It makes you sound objective, detached, and authoritative, exactly what an Ivy League admissions officer is looking for. We also employ relative clause embedding. This allows you to pack your analysis inside your description of the facts. Instead of saying, the reading says X, but the professor says Y, you say, the lecturer, who identifies a significant temporal discrepancy in the data, effectively undermines the author's primary assertion. Notice how the structure does the heavy lifting. You are proving to the ETS algorithm that you can handle complex, nested information without losing your logic chain. This is the difference between a student who speaks English and a scholar who commands it. Example 1. Addressing a causal fallacy. Let's look at our first case study. Imagine a reading passage that claims lowering speed limits will reduce all traffic accidents. Then the professor in the lecture argues that most accidents actually happen because of distracted driving, not speed. A non-Trinity scholar would likely produce something like this. The reading says low speed limits stop accidents, but the professor says it won't work because people are distracted by their phones, so they will still crash. This is what I call basic reporting. It's accurate, but it's conversational. It lacks the academic register required for a top score. Now, listen to how a Trinity scholar handles this same information. They would say, while the passage proposes that velocity is the primary catalyst for vehicular accidents, the lecturer identifies this as a causal oversimplification. She contends that the prevalence of distracted driving remains the overriding variable that the author fails to account for. Notice the weight of those words. By using primary catalyst instead of cause and causal oversimplification instead of wrong, you have signaled that you understand the relationship between variables. This is how you move from a 24 to a 30. Example 2. Managing a methodological flaw. In our second example, we have a methodological dispute. The reading claims a new fertilizer is a success because one farm grew 20% more corn. The professor, however, explains that the soil on that specific farm was unique, meaning the results won't apply elsewhere. A non-Trinity scholar acts as a messenger. The author believes the fertilizer is great because one farm did well. However, the speaker says the soil there was special, so the results are not for every farm. This is mid-tier. The transitions are however and so. It's predictable and repetitive. Contrast that with the Trinity scholar approach. The lecturer invalidates the author's claim by highlighting a methodological inconsistency. He posits that the environmental specifics of the trial site render the findings anecdotal rather than representative of a broader trend. When you use the word anecdotal, you are telling the grader, I know that one single example does not prove a scientific law. That is a high-status intellectual signal. Finally, let's look at a speaking task 4 scenario regarding the bystander effect. A non-Trinity scholar explains it like a story. The professor explains that when there are many people around, nobody helps because they think someone else will do it. This makes it hard to get help in a big city. This is too informal. A Trinity scholar treats the response as a formal lecture summary. The professor elucidates the concept of diffusion of responsibility. What the lecturer emphasizes is the inverse correlation between the number of witnesses and the likelihood of individual intervention. By using the term inverse correlation, you've turned a simple observation into a mathematical principle. That is the hallmark of a 120-score candidate. Let's distill the TOEFL logic protocol into actionable takeaways for your next practice session. Identify the fallacy. Stop saying disagree. Use specific terms like causal oversimplification or methodological inconsistency. Nominalize your logic. Use nouns like the refutation, the assertion, and the contradiction to build lexical density. Embed your clauses. Use relative clauses, the who, which, and that structures to pack detail into every sentence. Seek the inverse correlation. Always look for the mathematical relationship. If one factor goes up and another goes down, name it. It proves you have the analytical mind for American academia. Your mission this week is to move from a receiver of information to an analyst. The fallacy hunt. Find a news clip of a debate. Identify one causal oversimplification. Write a 3-sentence refutation in the comments using the words inevitably, paradoxically, and methodological. The embedding drill. Take 2 simple sentences from your last essay. Combine them into one high-density sentence using a relative clause. I'm Sloane. At Trinity English Scholar, we don't believe in luck. We believe in engineering your own success. I'll see you in the next session.